Hey everybody, my name is Charles Smith. I'm an author from Worcester, Massachusetts. And if you're not from Worcester, then you probably pronounce it Worcester or Worcester or what have you. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for my videos so you don't miss a single one. I have a lot of information that I want to bring out in this YouTube channel, a lot of information about my books. I'm an author of about 5 different self-help books, from Operation Battle of a Lifetime, which is a addiction recovery coping skills workbook. And if you've ever dealt with addiction, you know that it really is a battle of a lifetime. And a positive thinking workbook that helps you think about what's going on inside you, your emotions and all that, and it helps you think about your life, like negative to positive thinking, remembering that you're a great person right there, and list 5 things you don't like about yourself and 5 things you do like about yourself. See, I try to put everything into perspective for you. And I also go into practicing self-protection. Practical awareness is like situational awareness. And I have been in the military. I guess I'll start talking about myself now. I've been in the military from 1993 to 1996. 1993 was my detox from crack cocaine and drinking. And after the military, I decided to practice martial arts and boxing and get into private investigation work and security consulting and running programs. I actually started a nonprofit a long time ago, and I don't do it anymore, but I had a nonprofit program, where I ran programs for places like Jeremiah's Inn in Worcester and Veterans Inc. in Worcester, Washburn House, Spectrum, all different places. And one of the most popular programs that I ran was Operation TIP, which is a trauma-informed program, plus it teaches you all about post-traumatic stress. And I've actually had post-traumatic stress since I was 6 years old. My mother died when I was 6, and then I went out west with my family, and you can read all about that life in my book 10 Homes in 11 Years. And make a long story short, when I was 11, my father died of diabetes complications. And then I went home to live with my aunt and uncle. And I felt like the world owed me for a lot of my life. I felt like I couldn't get out of my own skin no matter how hard I tried. I turned to drugs and alcohol because of the way that my life was. I wanted to cope with it, and I used negative coping skills to cope with my life. So that happened until 1993 when I joined the military. And I put a lot of my own life into the books that I write. I put my heart and my soul in them, and I really just try to make them as simple as possible for people to be able to understand. I'm not one of those people, not that there's anything wrong with them, but I'm not one of those people that have tons of degrees and write a self-help book off of that degree. I am just now getting my associate's degree in human services, and that's my first degree. And so all these books that I've written are all on self-help, and they're all on my own life experience. And so a little more about myself. When I was, say, in my 30s, I figured out that I had post-traumatic stress. For a long time, from age 6 to age 30, I didn't know what was going on with me. I just knew that I was different from everybody else. And then my uncle and my grandfather died about a month apart, and that was my uncle who raised me. So it was like losing another father all over again. And my grandfather, like losing two fathers over again. So that put me into such a deep and dark depression, I didn't know where to go. I started carving on myself to relieve the pain, just to give myself something else to feel. And I ended up being a homeless veteran. After being a homeless veteran for a few years, I was in the streets of Boston. I was in some of the worst shelters that you ever want to see in Boston. I actually smuggled a knife underneath my pillow. And one of the places, I smuggled a knife and put it underneath my pillow. And one of the places, because of the stories that I heard, I was terrified, but I knew that it would be better than being on the streets for the night. After that is when I started heavily getting into martial arts and seeing other people hurting the way that I was. I not only got into martial arts, but I got into coping skills and meditation and yoga, Pilates, and boxing, and I used all those, and I still use all those for coping skills, because life hits you with the worst hits in the world. Just this past Christmas, I lost an aunt, and then a few months after that, I lost a good friend, and those really made me look at my life and made me, it was like I stared death in the eyes and I blinked. I don't know if anyone knows what that's like, but I just had that feeling. I cringed when I thought of death. And even though I've been associated with it for a lot of my life, since I was 6 years old, I never looked at it quite like I did when that happened. So, yeah, my channel is going to be all about my self-help books. Like I'll take a random page from Operation Battle of a Lifetime. And this is a good one. This is something that I actually created myself. The Cycle of Dealing with Post-Traumatic Stress. And you're using your meditation and coping skills, first of all. And coping skills is not something that you are going to learn from someone else. It's something that you have to figure out on your own. Like, I'm a certified peer specialist, and when I took that certification, I remember I told one of the instructors, I'm just going to teach people what I know, what I do. I was like, no, you can't do that. You have to help them develop their own coping skills. Because if you use meditation and you don't like meditation, you're not going to get anything out of it. If you don't like martial arts and you don't like boxing or yoga, you're not going to get anything out of it. It's got to be something that you want. From meditation and coping skills, you go to self-awareness, and from self-awareness, you're building up your self-confidence as you're building up your self-awareness. You're learning more about yourself, and then you're building up your self-confidence, being more secure in yourself, and then you can begin to ground to the here and now. And that's just knowing where you are, mindfulness. And then you can begin to review the events that was in your life that was a traumatic event. It's kind of hard to explain, but it could be anything, like my mother's death, or I was in a tank explosion. I was actually in a Bradley that blew its top, more or less. I was in riots in Cuba. I was in, when I was a kid, losing my dad, and me and my sister were over in Texas without any family there. You know, those sort of things you can begin to review and begin to get control of in your head. You know, learn to be okay with what happened. Not okay, but begin to be a little more aware and a little more confident that you made it through. Some of the triggers for post-traumatic stress can be a certain smell, sound, or sight that reminds you of the event you experienced. The anniversary date of the event is a reason that I don't remember any of the dates that the people in my life passed away, because I want to remember their life and not be reminded of their death every year. Seeing or reading a news report about it, like another explosion that could trigger me with my tank explosion event that happened. Seeing a person related to the event, or bad dreams or nightmares or night terrors. And do not be afraid to ask for help with the current issues you face. Remember, it takes the courage of a hero to ask for help. And it really does. It really just, you know, I remember when I was in the worst part of my life, when I was homeless, I didn't want to ask for help. I just wanted to fade away into the cracks in the pavement. But I got help. And I think everybody can get help. And then you never know the life that you can have after that help. Like, I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I wasn't the person I am now because I'm now a father. And if I did kill myself, if I did take my own life that many years ago, I wouldn't have been a dad. You know, just life can get better. You just can't give up hope. No matter how hard it gets, you can't give up. So this is Author Charles Smith. I'm signing off. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the little bell on there so you can see all my videos. I'm going to come out with a video about once a week. And I'm going to talk about different coping skills, show you guys some self-defense, self-protection, all kinds of stuff. So please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you.